It sounds like science fiction. You walk into the woods one afternoon, come home with a tick bite, and months later, a steak could put you in the hospital. No warning, no immediate reaction, just a quiet shift inside your immune system until your body suddenly decides red meat is the enemy. This is not fringe medicine. This is real, and it's growing. Across the United States, a condition called alpha-gal syndrome, a tick-triggered allergy to red meat, is quietly exploding. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that between 110,000 and potentially up to 450,000 Americans may already be affected, many without even knowing it. And the trend line? It's not flat, it's climbing. Between 2017 and 2021 alone, suspected cases jumped over 40%, with thousands of new cases added every year. Some researchers say positive test results have increased 100-fold over the past decade. That's not a blip, that's a pattern. And here's the part that should make you pause. Many doctors still don't recognize it. Surveys show over 40% of healthcare providers have never even heard of alpha-gal syndrome, and many others aren't confident diagnosing it. So you've got a rapidly growing condition with delayed symptoms that mimics other illnesses and a medical system still catching up. So what are we really dealing with here? Is this just another emerging allergy like peanuts decades ago? Or is this something bigger? Because if something this small can rewrite what humans are allowed to eat, imagine what else can be rewritten and who's paying attention.
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
Well, I was in training all day today, so yeah. So I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's right now, you know, everything's starting to get out there in the yard and get everything, the flowers, you know, plant it and get, you know, kind of getting everything's looking all green and beautiful right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
we had one little cold moment, and then now it's back to, it's all warm now.
Yeah, I think
here we are.
I think there's another front moving through. I think I saw on the news something's moving in through this weekend.
Really?
And I think temperature's going to drop a little bit.
Okay.
So this might be the last.
Yeah, a little drop.
The last little, I guess if you want to call it cool front.
Yeah.
I just think we're starting to get a little too far into into the year now where the broiler is fixing to be turned on.
100%.
So, yeah. But, yeah, everything's good right now. I'm looking for a house.
Okay. Fun stuff.
Yeah, the wife and I are house shopping right now. So it's I got a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got to buy a new car. I've got to get shopping for a house. I mean, I'm getting some quotes right now on doing some renovation to my house currently.
Jason gets married, and all of a sudden now he's got to
update. I got to do everything. You know,
got to update everything.
You know, I had a timetable before. Actually a couple of years back, because I'd remodeled my house back in 2018.
Okay.
I had completely gutted the bottom floor and replaced everything, repainted, you know, new trim, new bathroom. I mean, literally gutted to the stud. Mm-hmm. And now I've been wanting to do the upstairs.
Okay.
Because my house is a 2-story house.
Yeah.
And I just never had gotten to it. Partly because I just money and just everything else, but. Now I've got some things pushing me to try to get some of this done. So, I mean, if we're going to put the house up and try to find another house together, then I kind of have to update, at least update the top like I did the bottom. And, but yeah, so I've just been busy with all that right now. And it's just just trying to find a place because, I'm looking for, we're not looking for a big house because it's just us two. But, we're looking somewhere in the 22 to 2,300 square foot home, but with a little bit of land.
That's for a family of 5. That's what a family of 5 needs.
No,
that's what Miranda and I live in right now, and it's too much for 2 people.
Well,
Okay.
It's way too much for 2
well,
people.
the thing is, Tracy
Especially when one of them's stuck on workman's comp and can't do shit around the house.
Tracy likes to entertain, and so she wants to have the family over and stuff like that. So the idea would be 23, but the way the house is laid out is the critical part.
Right.
But I want a little bit of land, not a lot. It's not like I need, because I don't want to...
Like what, 5-6 acres?
No. Don't want all that.
10, 15 acres?
No, don't want that. I'm looking at, just enough that I can piddle around in and not spend my entire day worried about taking care of the yard.
Enough that you can go cut the grass for a couple hours and not have to do anything inside.
Yeah. Well, and also not have to start up a business.
I have a maid that comes, and we will have a maid coming...
Right.
On my, Tracy will continue to do her thing like she does because she likes everything to be real clean, and organized. So,
I understand what you're saying about the yard stuff, though.
I want a little bit of yard because I want something where I can maybe put a little greenhouse.
Yeah.
Like I currently have right now. I mean, the size yard I have at my it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking for. The problem is finding that now is almost next to impossible. You either get a house that's about 18 to 1,900 square feet. And when I tell you, there is no yard.
No,
there's none.
Yeah.
So you got house, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, we both like to go out and put our hands in the dirt and stuff like that. So, or it jumps to like 2,700 square foot. So there's really that nothing in between.
Yeah.
That it's just very.
So why don't you find a little piece of property and design a house and build
That's
it?
hard.
No, not really. It's really not that hard.
Because we have looked at some property, but it's finding property within the area that we want to be in.
Right.
Tracy's not big on building. She's built a home before. One of the most frustrating things ever, which I understand. Everybody I've talked to that have built a home, it is very, very difficult to do. It's just a very stressful event. So she would rather get an existing home that kind of fits our needs. That gives us that.
That also
and
puts you in a hard spot.
we're going to be seeing some. We're going to go look at some houses this weekend. We've already looked at a few already. I like one that I've seen, but it's a fairly large home.
Mm-hmm. How quickly are you guys wanting to like?
Well, a lot of it will depend on how fast I can get my house renovated.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
And to be able to put it on the market, and then however long it'll take it to sell. Because I think my house is going to sell fast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to price it, I think, at a point where a lot of people are going to want to jump on that.
So you think possibly you may be moving out before the end of the year?
It could.
Okay.
Or maybe early next year.
Yeah,
it just
okay.
depends
Just
on.
remember, the midsummer time is prime selling time because people that want to get their kids into certain school districts.
Oh, you're right.
I would be looking at getting it ready for midsummer, and
there's a local school initiative right now.
That's exactly what I'm talking
in my
about.
Area,
there's going to be people looking in your area to go.
I think if it does pass, I think it's still going to take. It's going to take a little while for it to. But I think long term, I think my house is going to just nothing but go up in value. I really believe that, and it's going to be priced where easily for a young couple that is starting out, or a minimum even. I don't think an older person will buy mine simply because it has a 2-story.
Yeah.
But for a young family, maybe has one child.
Yes.
I can easily see it.
One of my really close friends just recently, he and his wife got married probably 2 years ago at this point. They've been together for a long, long time, and they got married. They were in like this little bitty apartment for, again, up until their marriage, and then of course the past couple of years. And he's been doing really well at his job. He works like in plant work type stuff, or like administrative stuff in plant work. So doesn't really get his hands dirty, but does all the numbers and stuff.
Right.
And he recently just bought himself a house in a new development area, like a new subdivision kind of thing. And he's at around the bend of like a cul-de-sac. And I went out there, and man, it was such a beautiful house. And I was like, oh, my buddy gets a little bit of money, and all of a sudden he's like, hey man, I've been wanting to get myself a house for him and his wife for a long time. And I was like, hey, I'm just pulling your leg, dude. So I'm happy for him, because it's like he's got a really nice. And again, it's all like modern, like the floor plan of it. It all makes sense. And he was just showing me around, and I was like, man, so happy. So
I'm telling you, building today, we looked at new construction, and new construction is just very expensive for what you get.
Yeah.
There's a couple places we've looked that have always been intrigued by actually designing a house.
Yeah.
That would work for me.
Yeah.
And for that way we get kind of both of our, but
it's finding the builders to make it.
It's just the amount of money.
Of
I mean,
course.
let's be honest. There was an area that we both liked, but to buy the lot, and that, I mean, you're pushing over 600,000, and that's kind of outside of our our budget, and that we're willing, because we don't want to be house poor.
Of course.
We both want to plan to travel and do things, and I don't want to be completely have a bell run, around my neck trying to pay a house note, at my age now, and trying to do all that when, right now it should be, where we're going to go this year. But, it's just right now the house market is just what it is.
Yeah.
It's just it's very difficult finding that
middle ground.
2,200 square foot home with a little bit of yard. It just almost doesn't exist.
It's black and white. You
either get small
Yeah.
with postage stamp yard,
Yes.
or you got the half acre lot.
It's either a shack or a mansion
with the big house. Which
Yeah.
it's kind of like what are we going to do with all this? Now, I was mentioning in the pre-show, there was a house that I do like. I think it's big.
Yeah.
It would be way more house than what her and I would ever need.
Right.
But it does gives us some flexibility on some things that I would like to do and to be able. But I mean, as I said, we'll find something right now. But we've just started looking, and so we'll have to. I'm a believer in the good Lord will lead us to the house that He wants us to be in. So, but yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
that's kind of what's been going on in my life right
excited for
now,
you.
and all that. So, what about y'all?
I work with a production company sometimes, and this past weekend we had a whole bunch of big shows that were happening. So I I'm not going to name drop anybody. I'll tell you guys after the show. But there was like some pretty big artists that came out, so did a big production for them on Friday, and then Saturday there's a band that the production has a contract with. They're a really good popular band. It's like local, and they were doing a reception for a wedding that was like out in the middle of nowhere. So I had to drive 2 hours out there to go run the production for that. So it was a lot of fun to kind of get back out there and do that kind of work again. So that was like probably the big highlight of this past week. So, but it's pretty good, all things considered. So. But.
Yeah, we went to a wedding this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so did that.
That's fun.
Oh yeah, it was a great time. It was Tracy's best friend.
Cool.
So she got married, and it was a great ceremony, and
that's awesome.
Great reception. We had a lot of fun. So
I believe that was it you, Stoney, that had brought up this, had like talked about like the topic we're talking about today. You kind of had mentioned it, I think. Before we left, or it was on the tail end of last episode. I don't remember exactly, but anyways,
I damn sure don't remember.
You had mentioned it, and we were like, okay, that'd be an interesting thing to talk about, because I've never heard of it before. I didn't know it was.
I didn't know either,
and
it's
so
huge.
It is. I had no idea.
The CDC estimates 500,000 people already since 2021 that have been infected, and I say infected because this was engineered by human beings, ticks, basically given an enzyme, something, whatever they do, and now they're biting humans and making them allergic to red meat, which actually includes pork.
Okay.
It's meat and pork. Chicken does not seem to be affected. Fish doesn't seem to be infected. It's some type of a mammal type of a allergic reaction. Now, I would like everybody to know, I don't know if you know this, I'm sure everybody's heard the term lactose intolerant.
Right.
Do you know what that is?
Your body's intolerant to the sugar lactose.
Basically, the humans that can drink milk and eat cheese today are the genetic defect.
Right.
They're the defects.
Yeah.
Your body's not supposed to be able to process that. When you're 2 and 3 years old, you stop producing the enzyme that can digest your mother's milk. So you're not supposed to be doing dairy basically at all.
I love dairy.
I know. So before I realized I was lactose intolerant, a big tall glass of chocolate milk.
There you go.
But so I guess in a way they're playing off of that, giving this tick, and we can look at the science. I'd be willing to bet all the money in my pocket that Jason can break that down for us now. They give this tick, they work with the enzymes, and when it bites you, you go through this week or two of some serious reactions to it, and in the end result, you're allergic to red meat. And that's just not accidental. God did not make a tick that made you allergic to red meat. This is man-made. Now, there's some people out there saying Bill Gates did this, which he has.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. He has funded it. I mean, I can't actually come out and say that he's the one who came up with this idea, but he has funded this through the Bill Gates Foundation, through other things. He's funded this, and they were doing something for in Africa with ticks and the livestock there.
Yeah.
And that is known that he's done. But whether he's the culprit of this specific tick thing, I can't say for sure. But there's enough evidence. What did Arsenio Hall do? Things that make you go,
right.
Well, I'm looking at this chart here. It says this is how fast this stuff has grown. It said in 2009, there were 24 known cases. By 2017, 5,000. By 2018, 34,000.
That is
2022, 450,000. And it just keeps jumping. Just like Stoney said, it's now probably over 500,000.
Oh, well over, because the 400,000, 450,000 was 2 years ago. If you just look at how it exponentially is growing, it could be over 1 million at this point.
They say, according to CDC, the number of new suspected cases of alpha-gal syndrome is increasing by more than 15,000 a year.
That's the thing is, is there some sort of pesticide we can use to neutralize this tick or something?
It's the Lone Star tick is what's used. And it's funny that, I was watching a kind of a generic, kind of an informational podcast on alpha-gal syndrome, which kind of made me do kind of one of those moments. Yeah. But the first, they trace the origins of this stuff to basically the state of Virginia.
Okay. Now,
I need you to kind of hold that.
Okay. Virginia.
Why is that state significant? It's because the government back in the 50s and the 60s spread over 500,000 ticks in that area on other things to experiment on the transmission of biological agents using that for other things. To me, this idea that they're saying, well, they don't know where it came from, and then I'm reading this other stuff regarding these government experiments that now has come out in Congress. If people don't understand that the 2026 fiscal year appropriation for the DoD budget requires them the Inspector General to study, did the U.S. government experiment with ticks from 1945 to 1972? So there is something to this.
Well, you have to think about it. At that time, they were looking at ways to war somebody without having to actually destroy the city. And that's where the neutron bomb came from. That's where the tick, what can we do to cause the most chaos and kill the people without destroying the cities and the infrastructure so that we can go in there? Oh, I bet you somebody's got a poison that kills this tick.
Yeah.
There's probably some Tesla wave that goes through there and just destroys the whole tick colony, and that's it. It's over.
Yeah, I'd say it's the 10th most common food allergen in the United States. I don't know. I don't have statistics
I don't believe
in the worldwide, but 60 to 75% experience anaphylaxis. And there have been over 10 deaths, at least according to...
I heard a little bit more than that.
Well, it probably is. I'm just going off this stuff here.
It also said a lamb too, beef, pork, and lamb, which is so it's all kind. It's just the red meat variety, like you're saying. That's crazy. But yeah,
something to do with being a mammal. I think is what I
well.
I think I read.
The bacteria or that actually create that's what this stuff is actually found in mammals. It's just not found in humans. So what happens when it's introduced to human beings, the human body recognizes it as a parasite's an enemy, and it attacks it. That's what provokes the allergic reactions and stuff like that we all experience for a variety of different things. They say up to 3% or more of some populations are affected, and I'm telling you, where they're finding a lot of these cases are popping up is in Virginia, New York, all along that. Because it was
I think there was somebody in Louisiana that got it too, though.
Well, they could be. I mean, I'm not saying it's all over because the Lone Star tick is primarily in the southeast portion of the United States. So, but what's happened is find it funny that this stuff has migrated up north.
Yeah.
Which then ties back to my original comment that I said regarding these governmental experiments with ticks. It's just some of the things I read about, what the U.S. government was doing. They dropped like several 100,000 ticks over the sugar fields of Cuba during that time to destabilize Castro. So, and there is a scientist, I can pull his name up, who was one of the top viral or bio weapon guys. Guy died at 89 years old, but he was instrumental in the whole weaponization of ticks, which, people would think that's crazy. Yeah. But then they've been attempts in Congress to study this stuff. I think the first attempt was back in maybe 2019, I believe. There was a representative from New Jersey, Chris Smith, I believe his name. He attempted to, and he was like chairman of the Tick and Lyme Disease Committee or whatever it was. And he mentioned that, he tried to get something to pass to make the Inspector General to study this stuff. Was the United States doing this stuff? And they passed it in the House. It failed in the Senate. And eventually, finally, they got something moving with this in the 2026. So there's something to this. Now, I'm not going to sit here that the bacteria was created by humans. I don't believe that. The evidence is not there because they do trace this bacteria back to about 65,000 years ago.
Really?
So it's been around a long time.
But Virginia has always been populated. It would have been happening for years and years and years. Evidence does show that it may have happened 65,000 years ago, but it's been reintroduced by human beings.
I think humans have helped. Have helped
synthesize it into
I think they've.
And yes, Louisiana does have alpha-gal cases, but they don't know an exact number right now. So, but yes, we are.
That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading articles like, these people up north, like, where are all these ticks coming from?
Yeah.
And come to find out, probably because our own government's been dumping a ton of them in areas that normally they didn't have a lot of ticks. So I mean, they've always had ticks in the South because it's warm and that's the climate is ideal for them. But for colder climates,
right?
Shouldn't
be a problem.
Right.
But here we are.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This has been crazy listening to some of this stuff.
Especially with it, like you had said earlier, the cases of it expanding astronomically by a factor of a lot. Just like the cases that are how quickly
it's going crazy.
Like, so it makes me feel like, why is it contagious by some other means, or is it only the tick? Because like, why all of a sudden is the cases going from like, teens to hundreds to thousands to hundreds of thousands so fast?
I think part of it is, whether there's just more people being bit by ticks, maybe there's an increase in the number of ticks.
Mm-hmm. But think about that. All of our shows, what are we talking about? People not going outside. Less and less people are going outside. So magically, all of a sudden, more people are getting bit by ticks, even though there's less people outside?
Unless, as I'm saying, unless people have already been bitten, people have always, or maybe there's been a lot of people experiencing these type of symptoms, didn't quite know what it was, because it does mimic other illnesses.
Okay.
Doctors don't really know a whole lot about it. They maybe misdiagnose it, or they treat something else thinking it's this, but it's in reality it's that. So I think as more and more knowledge, as more and more is brought to the forefront, and especially with medical research and stuff like that, I think they're going, this is what you got, you know. So they say symptoms can take up to 3 to 8 hours, after eating meat. Yeah. So it's not evident.
Right.
So
but think about what you just said. Magically one day? No, that's not how it happens. It's you get bit. It's just crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
In Virginia, there's something wrong going on in Virginia. And I was going to bring this up. I'm glad you said that. Did you just hear what happened with their popular vote and electoral vote?
Yeah, I saw that.
No, what's that?
Your vote doesn't count in Virginia now.
Oh, really?
Yes. No Virginian's vote counts. Period. At all. Everybody can vote in Virginia or not vote in Virginia. The law that they just passed, and it's SB 322, and was signed by Governor Spansberg or whatever. It basically says that the state's total 270 electoral votes, and I think it's will award its 13 votes to the winner of the nationwide popular vote.
Yeah, there is a on that issue.
So basically, everybody could vote for candidate A, but if candidate B, that means 100%, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And candidate B wins the popular vote of the country, that's who their electoral votes will go to.
How are they able to pass
That's unconstitutional.
that
has got to be challenged.
I think what they're trying to do is bypass the electoral college, and people, you hear people moaning, complaining about, on the surface it should be popular vote, but I don't think people really understand what that really means.
Well, you want the popular vote when 35 million dead people are voting for the Democrats. And now how many illegal aliens are going to be able to vote for Democrats? There was this huge thing on, and I may have mentioned it in the last episode, about the liberals saying how much Donald Trump hates dead people.
Okay.
Do you know why they're saying that?
Why is that?
Because he doesn't want them to vote.
Of course.
But Virginia, it sounds like from Jason saying back even into the 40s, they've been messing around with their people.
Well, I think is they dumped, from what I was listening to a show regarding the government's research into ticks. So obviously the government has in the past had Fort Detrick, Maryland, where a lot of this was happening.
Right.
There was another one, I think, somewhere out in Montana or something like that. They had another lab. So this stuff has been going on for some time. And there's no doubt in my mind that they were probably trying to find ways of spreading bioagents through insects, because they not only released ticks, they were growing mosquitoes, and they introduced a ton of this stuff in the United States, and that's documented. So That stuff has been going on for some time, but they dumped a lot of the stuff in Virginia where they did because my understanding is that is where birds, there's a migratory pattern there. So they want to see how birds would carry because ticks jump on birds.
Oh, yeah.
And it carries them to different places. So, no, I mean, none of that surprises me with that, with this particular, because it's a whole different, we've all heard of Lyme disease. And well, all this is tied into a lot of this bio research that's going on. Not that the government created Lyme disease. I'm not saying that, but they did play a part in its spread, and because it's just how magically this stuff has just popped up the way it has. So what's happening is, I think now, it's spreading the way you introduce something, the natural elements do its thing, and it spreads it into areas that maybe if you don't do anything to manipulate that, it stays where it stays. And so you're not running into those problems.
Well, it's not above the government to do this. What did they infect the Tuskegee Airmen with?
Yeah, syphilis.
Syphilis?
Yeah, they denied them treatment.
Yeah.
Just to see
what it would do.
What it would do. And I'm telling you, the government's done some... you go back to, Operation Paperclip and the government bringing in all those those Nazi doctors and Austrian science, all them guys that were part of the Third Reich. And guess what they were doing? They were experimenting on prisoners in the concentration camp.
Yes.
But, that's valuable research. Whether you want to, the way it was done is terrible and unethical and everything else you want to call it. But the reality is, you still got data.
Yeah.
You still got data, and that data is valuable. So you don't think the government was like, you come work for us. We'll overlook all this.
Well, better you come work for us than you go work for
Russia.
Russians.
We're going to, we'll overlook all the war crimes
of course.
you did, which I find often, funny that we'll make exceptions for certain people than for others. Just like I'm a firm believer if Joseph Mengele wouldn't have escaped Germany at the end of World War II, I guarantee he probably would have been snatched up by either the Russians or us and brought over here in some clandestine manner to do continuous work.
Of course.
Hey, guys, here you go. Here is a map of the cases in America.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's awfully. That's Arkansas. What is that? Arkansas. Yeah, that's Arkansas. What's above Arkansas? Missouri? No.
Illinois, Missouri,
Illinois,
all of that.
Well, they dumped a lot of stuff around on the top of St. Louis.
Virginia.
But I was going to say,
that's
it looks
Virginia
like
over here.
It's all spreading west from Virginia. Look at that. That's interesting.
Well, they say common symptoms for alpha-gal: stomach pain, cramping, bloating, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea several hours after eating red meat or meat-based foods, researchers said.
And like you said, I think, like you're talking about before, like if it's a couple hours after you eat red meat and you're having anaphylaxis and you go to the doctor and he treats you with like epinephrine or some sort of who's to say, like, I can understand where the confusion may come in, where it's like, oh, you might be allergic to this thing. Oh, you might be allergic to this thing. Where that's where I think it may be hard to find where. Like, it's one thing if you have peanuts and you're allergic to peanuts and you have an immediate anaphylactic response, as opposed to the meat having to take a handful of hours to. Maybe that's where they're having the confusion of trying to find cases and trying to find if you're actually allergic to that and not something else, because it could be like a red herring where oh, well, you might be allergic to.
Yeah, I mean,
gluten or whatever.
I mean, I'm looking at this study here at the National Library of Medicine, and here's a study dated July. It looks like July 21st. Looks like 2025. And it's saying here MMA increased dramatically across all demographics. Overall incidence proportion rose by over 5,500%, with the most substantial increases observed in individuals over 40 years old. Age stratified analysis within racial groups reveal particularly sharp increases among blacks, and Hispanics, adults over 40. Females experience a steeper rise in incident rate than males. Predictive modeling projects continued growth through 2030, with incidence proportions in Black and Hispanic populations expected to decrease by 57% and 72%, respectively.
Remember how we were talking about like COVID taking out certain generations of people?
Well, as I said, these things you have to.
You have to think about it like this. They wanted to kill off the old and the poor people.
Of course, right.
This is designed to kill off the old and the poor people because the rich people, the ultra elite, ain't nowhere near these ticks.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was,
okay. And I'm 100% agreeing with you but they're going to still eat red meat. Every society that removes red meat from its citizens is doing it for a reason. And that is to keep them fat and slow so they can't revolt. Now they just have a way to do it with bioengineering.
Right.
Instead of just saying, you killed the king's deer and hang you.
Right.
Now they're not just going to even give you the choice to do it. They're just going to make you so sick you either get sick and die from it, but you know what? The ultra elite, the what is it? BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street people, the Rockefellers, the what's the other group I always try to mention, but I'm forgetting right now.
Right.
They still eating red meat.
Right.
They gonna eat what they supposed to. They're not gonna be eating none of this 3D printed meat.
Right. Artificial meat.
Yeah. And it's lab grown, and it's not actually 3D printed, but it is printed for texture. Think about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm reading about this particular case of this guy in New Jersey who ended up dying, it appears, from an event. They said that a new report tells of a healthy airline pilot who in the summer of 2024 went on a camping trip with his wife and children. They had a steak as part of a late supper. That was unusual. The man rarely ate meat. He woke up at 2 a.m. with severe stomach pain, diarrhea, and vomiting. He gradually felt better, went back to sleep, and the next morning he felt well enough to eat breakfast and walk 5 miles. 2 weeks later, back at home in New Jersey, he went to a barbecue where he ate a hamburger. About 4 hours later, he grew ill. A short time after that, his son found him unconscious on the bathroom floor.
Oh, my gosh.
The son called paramedics, but the man was declared dead that night at the hospital.
So he went 2 weeks without eating any red meat between that and the hamburger?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
They said the researchers said blood tests revealed. Oh, look at that! My thing jumped on me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it disappeared on me.
Oh, love that.
I was reading. No, here it is. Okay. Okay. They said research said blood tests revealed evidence of an alpha-gal syndrome. Proof it came from the Lone Star tick is incomplete.
Where else are you going to get it from?
They say the authors made the link based on a statement from the man's wife who said he had 12 or 13 chigger bites around his ankles earlier in the summer.
Oh, if you're in chiggers, you could have got a tick in there and just not realized it.
Yeah. But even if that's a couple of those are freaking tick bites, that's still a lot.
Right.
Yeah, they said the Lone Star's ticks range has been expanding for quite some time, which I think part of that is the government doing what it did and purposely spreading these ticks, which is sad. But you may want to Google House or Defense Authorization study on of weaponization of ticks. There should be some information regarding that. Which, I mean, that's telling. If the government, if Congress is basically saying, guys, y'all need to figure out what's been going on here. I mean, I think it was in 1969, as in Nixon basically nixed the bio weapons testing or research in the United States.
Well, the CIA is notorious for always listening to what the president says. So
yeah, well,
I'm sure they didn't do anything about it.
They do what they want to do.
This is a critical amendment.
It was an amendment.
Yeah, a critical amendment authored by Representative Chris Smith.
Yeah.
To investigate whether the U.S. military weaponized ticks with Lyme disease has been included in the National Defense Authorization Act and fiscal year 2026, which has cleared the U.S. House of Representatives, headed to the Senate, and is expected to be signed by President Trump upon the final passage. I'm not sure when this was released. This was released December of 2025.
So not that far back.
Yeah. So
whether they actually do it or not, I mean, but you think the DOD is going to basically say, we experimented,
right.
We experimented with ticks and created diseases, and
even with all the proof, they've never come out and said that they did that to the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah, well, nobody ever admits anything.
Of course not.
They're saying that if you survive the first onslaught of this alpha-gal syndrome, you can somewhat live a normal life with poultry,
right?
Seafood, eggs, nut seeds, soy foods like tofu, and grains, vegetables, and fruit. Sounds like they're trying to turn us into vegans or vegetarians, doesn't it?
But what if someone already has like a nut allergy and has like a shellfish allergy or
shellfish
something?
And nut allergy? You're screwed.
Yeah, it's chicken for the rest of your life.
And so what they're saying is, but if you go on this diet, then you need to closely monitor your proteins, your iron, your vitamin B12, your zinc, calcium, and vitamin D. They're making you fat, they're making you slow, and they're making you weak because they're cutting the one thing out that can actually help you. When you're eating red meat and pork, and you said lamb too, right? You're getting fats in there. Your brain is comprised of fats and cholesterol. This is something else. They've been knocking the cholesterol level down for decades and decades. But you're removing the one thing that keeps you cognitively on top. They're making us slow and fat. They're doing it intentional. How many times have people joked about having a McDonald's burger that they found 2 years later under their car,
and
it looks fine. It looks totally fine. They're saying they don't have enough cows in America to produce the amount of meat just for the McDonald's burgers that are made every year. I don't know if that's a true statistic or not. I think I kind of like to find out. But when you think about it, that's substantial. Yeah. So that means they're putting in bones. They're putting in other things into that.
3D printing it.
3D printing, thank you. Yeah. I mean, they're making us, they're trying to make us vegans and vegetarians. Or I think with fish and seafood, what is it? Pescatarians.
Yeah, right.
And that's just crazy. Yep. But you know the ultra elite, they gonna be eating their meat.
Yeah, everything's fine with them. And it's the same thing. I feel like with like the same thing with like vaccines or cures for things. It's like it could probably run rampant, 400,000, 500,000 cases. But the second like some critical elite people potentially get bit by that tick, and it's like, oh, we got to get a cure for this ASAP. We got to start expediting this process.
And then everybody's going to need a vaccine for it.
Yeah.
Here you come with the mRNA vaccine.
And I'm not talking about like vaccine like a bad way like that. I'm talking about like if there's actually a vaccine or a cure for it, like a good one that's not going to be doctored around, like something like that.
But think about how hard it is to get people to eat healthier now. If you cut out red meat, you're just going to go to this high processed, low protein, convenience food just because that's all that's left for you. Because people aren't going to make salads. They're not going to,
Right. Interesting. I wonder what's going to happen, like, as far as finding some sort of, like,
I don't know. There may be a lot of people that actually have it. They don't know they have it. And it's not affecting them,
right?
Because everybody's body chemistry is different. I mean,
it's pretty substantial that if you get bit by this tick, you're gonna have something. It's not just like I got bit and I'm not worried about it. You become allergic to meat. If you eat meat, you're gonna get violently sick.
They say it's been identified across multiple continents: North America, Europe, Australia, parts of Asia, and Africa.
Well, Bill Gates was researching and promoting this in Africa. He's the one who sent it over there. Oh yeah, magically we can't produce any evidence that he's part of it other than funding in America, but he's the one who did it in Africa. And there's evidence to back that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a sugar molecule. It's what it is. And it just your body reacts to it. So I don't know. There's really no numbers. There's no worldwide registry that you can pull numbers worldwide of how many.
Right.
It could be. It's probably in the millions.
Oh, yeah, right.
That people are suffering from this stuff that we really don't know about, and whether this is just a natural phenomenon that I mean, people say that the climate's changing, getting warmer, which means ticks are expanding into areas that normally didn't have them or didn't have them very much, so people didn't run across ticks.
Right.
Or it's unfortunate because we have done certain things and we've kind of helped nature, so to speak, move into areas that normally it would not be. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just as a, when you pull up a lot of this data, there's always it's climate change and all this stuff, and I'm kind of like, kind of shaking my head. I'm going, climate. Here we go again. Got to include the climate change, but I mean, is it getting warmer? I don't know. Maybe it is getting warmer. I don't know. They, supposedly the experts say we're getting warmer now. What's that getting warmer? Why is that happening?
Right.
Is that a natural Earth cycle? I would think it's probably has more to do with just how we cycle from cold to hot on planet Earth. Because at one time it was very cold.
Yeah.
On this planet. So I think we'll eventually be cold again, and whether whoever's living at that time will experience it at that time. But right now we're just in kind of in a warming trend. So
I wonder too. Like, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit last year, or throughout the course of last year. Like, we didn't have hurricanes weren't really a super big deal last year because I think the water temperature was technically lower than I think it had normally been.
Right.
Like that. So I wonder now for this year, is that trend going to continue, or are we going to have same?
I think I saw that they're predicting a super El Nino
really
this year. They say the waters in the Pacific are going to be really super warm, which is funny for where we live.
Yeah,
that actually usually means a suppressed hurricane season in the Atlantic. The way it works now, there is a big super typhoon right now out in the Pacific.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I saw something to the effect that it's broken all the records.
Really?
Winds at 180 miles an hour. I mean,
because I know that's how it.
Super. I mean, you may want to find out.
Yeah.
I've been seeing things regarding this typhoon in the Pacific. You may want to check, just kind of fact check that if that's really real. But it's supposedly, with that, it wouldn't surprise me if it's real, because they're saying it's going to be an increase in typhoon activity because of the conditions in the Pacific. Mm-hmm. And that affects wind patterns and how all that works out. But they say during an El Nino, that means it's less hurricanes in the Atlantic. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get hit.
Yeah.
It just simply means the chances are a lot lower.
Super Typhoon Senlaku.
Yep.
In mid-April 2026, a powerful typhoon bore down on the Mariana Islands in the North Pacific Ocean. The storm, Super Typhoon Senlaku, was notable for reaching such exceptional strengths so early in the year.
Right.
The Visual Infrared Imaging Radar Suite, or VIIRS, on the satellite captured this image, and it's an image of just this massive looking hurricane thing. Image about 3:30 local time, blah, blah, blah. Storm carried such sustaining winds of around 280 kilometers, which is 175 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That places it as a violent typhoon, the highest intensity on the scale used by the Japan Meteorological Agency, and equivalent to a Category 5 storm.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I've just been seeing. Seeing little tidbits here and there about which, as I'm saying, they're predicting a very powerful El Nino.
Yeah,
it's an exceptional year.
Okay,
and so that means going to be a lot of strong storms in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, all it takes is one here.
Oh yeah.
And believe me, on years that have been supposedly slow for us. We've been hit in this region.
Oh, I know.
By a pretty strong storm.
Right. I just was curious because, again, I could be wrong, but I think as of last year, I don't remember. There may have been a couple of storms that it passed through, but nothing like category hurricane level. I don't remember. Yeah, I could be wrong. But,
well, last year was the first year
in
recorded history that no named storm was produced.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't need storms.
No.
The same year that they fired all the scientists from the supposed weather control stations.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh, I got to throw it in there.
The latest right now is all the scientists that seem to be showing up dead.
That's crazy.
That are tied to either energy or UFO related deals, and they're just
coincidentally.
It's matter of fact, it's even been brought up. Matter of fact, a reporter at a White House briefing brought this up, and they're like, it's now happening enough that it's kind of defying kind of your natural things that happen. Why is it these particular people are ending up dead that just seem to be tied to certain types of programs? So I don't know. Maybe it all has to do with all that UFO disclosure. That's
same type of reason all the pregnant interns committed suicide with 2 shots to the head that were around Bill Clinton.
Yeah,
it's magical.
I just sometimes you just got to kind of some things just make you think, why are these things happening? What seems to be the common thread, and
we need to get Arsenio Hall on the show so he can go things that make you go just one time.
I remember that show quite a bit. Oh yeah, the good old 90s.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know, man. This is we are at a we got there's a situation, and as fast as this stuff is spreading, I kind of worry about myself going out in the woods and
be sure to bring leg wraps
and chicks, and you make sure you spray yourself with a lot of deep woods off. To prevent them from latching on to you.
That's all our kids need is another reason not to go outside.
You're right.
And we just gave it to them.
Well, I think it's just the lack of
leg wraps, long pants.
Lots of off.
I think there's a lot of. I just think there's a lot of people that are just now. They have these computers and things that keep them busy.
In the modern age, it's the worst for anyone who's hypochondriac. All it takes is a little bit. And
look, I had a friend of mine with COVID. He's a good friend. I just one day he walked in. I saw him in a grocery store. He was wearing a full breathing apparatus.
Oh yeah,
and I'm sitting there going. I looked at him like, really?
Oh yeah. Oh, and also,
really?
I said, COVID was so much more than just the virus.
My favorite one was driving down the street and seeing someone in the car by themselves with 3 masks on.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I don't. I'm telling you, it was never about. It was COVID, but it was so much more than that. It was the fear of everything else, of all of society crushing down around you.
But remember, the same people that wanted to mandate you must have a vaccine ID card are the same people saying we don't need ID cards to vote.
I know. Yep.
Think about that one. Things that make you go, Arsenio, can you come on the show, man, please? And just one time go, things that make you go,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is just nuts. But yeah, I mean, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope this is not a government created thing that maybe got out of, maybe tied to the whole thing with Lyme disease and kind of what happened with all that. And but I mean, the government has done research. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. There's enough evidence out there that yes, there has been programs where they have weaponized insects, and it's not just been ticks. There's been mosquitoes and other things. Like they bred a bunch of mosquitoes loaded with yellow fever.
That just is so. That's one of those things where like that's not even. It's not a controlled weapon. I feel like at that point, if you're going to release that out into the world, like you really got to be comfortable with the fact that like that's probably going to come back around. And bite you in the butt.
You would think. What were these people? Thinking that somehow this idea that I can control nature.
No, you can't. I recently watched.
You can try.
You can try. I recently watched a whole video about. Or like it was this long like documentary style video talking about the American chestnut tree and how like people had tried to like bring over other types of like Japanese hazelnut or chestnut trees, and of course the Japanese ones had like certain sorts of like immune resistance towards like funguses, and whenever it was transplanted here, it just like killed all of them, and now it's like. It's crazy to think about that. Like in my lifetime, I've never really seen like an American chestnut tree, and like apparently it used to like cover the East Coast, and I had no idea. It's like things like that, or like people try to come through.
They did to the carrots.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, didn't they used to be purple? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just changed it completely.
Yeah. That's crazy to think about as well.
Well, they say right now Australia has one of the highest known rates. So I did find that
of alpha gall.
Of alpha gall, yeah. Which doesn't surprise me.
Right.
I mean, Australia's got
all the vermin
they got every potential thing that could kill you somehow exists in that country. It's just unbelievable how one country could be so loaded down with some of the most dangerous animals and insects that exist on this planet. You just wonder how that works out that way.
Yep.
I don't know.
It's a perfect breeding ground for...
I mean, you think about what they've got. I mean, snakes.
Oh, yeah.
Spiders. Ticks.
Lizards.
Crocodiles.
Yeah.
I mean, great white sharks. I mean, you name it, they have it all. Everything that can kill you is there. It's just, I find that very kind of, it's kind of interesting that how that evolved that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have that in Europe. You don't have that in, like, Russia.
You have it in Louisiana.
A little bit.
Well, they have it here, but I don't think you have it nearly.
We have mosquitoes that can carry babies off. Okay, I mean, come on.
The one thing I don't like wasps, and have you seen those like Asian killer wasps that are like?
Have you seen them here?
No. But what I'm saying is like I don't want.
You worried they're coming?
I think they have showed up somewhere in like the East Coast, like in Virginia or whatever.
I had a friend of mine that she's now deceased, but. I remember her posting on Facebook that she had got stung by an Asian hornet.
Yeah.
And she said,
like there's no way.
They said the things were huge. You know, she was going, and I'm thinking about how did they even get here? Because
I think the only thing that there are predators for them are bees. Because they also hunt bees as well.
They show how bees, react to when these big things land on the hive and what they do. The bees completely
three of these things can destroy a
whole hive easy.
But
see, what I'm saying. So in places where these, like the Asian hornet exists, the other local bees have developed mechanisms to fight off these invaders.
But our honeybees haven't.
Yeah, not our honeybees.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about but the other Asian bees. Oh yeah,
they are massive.
Their stinger is almost an inch.
That's crazy. Anyway, so I'm saying I've never seen one, but I worry that like one day I'm just going to
see if they make it to Louisiana, we'll just figure out how to eat them. So
No,
I mean, is it going to be a Asian hornet sauce pecan?
No.
Yeah, I was reading an article.
Just have a hornet boil.
Speaking of animals,
yeah,
that Pablo Escobar's hippopotamus farm that he had on his deal. Those hippopotamus have been here they've been over there for a long time now.
Yeah.
They're not native to there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they were introduced by Pablo Escobar, brought them in.
Yeah.
Well, they're starting to take over.
No way.
Now they're talking about having to kill some of them to cull the herds.
Wow.
Because they're now threatening people in boats and everything.
Yeah.
Because they're
Ecosystem
aggressive
stuff. Yeah.
They're aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, they're the number one killers.
Oh yeah.
Of people.
Yep.
And even more so than crocs.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And they'll go toe to toe with a croc.
And win.
Yeah.
Yep.
And win.
I mean, that's a big animal.
I know.
I mean,
I saw a video.
That's a big animal, but just think the damage the tick is doing.
Yeah,
crazy.
well, that's what I'm saying. It's we are dealing with now ticks and this new allergy, and I wish I could tell people something happy about this, but it just seemed like this stuff is growing. And now I did watch some shows regarding this, that there have been some documented like attempts to cure this.
Okay.
That actually have been successful.
Nice.
So there have been people that have slowly reintroduced meat to their diet and have suffered no side effects.
Nice.
So if you want to,
there's hope.
There's hope there. I think once they understand it better and understand how it reacts in the body, or I should say how the body reacts to this molecule, I think they can probably find some means of neutralizing that, or suppressing your immune system to a degree. I don't know how.
That was a joke I was making earlier. Was like, just wait till one important person gets infected, and we'll expedite the process real quick. We'll get a cure going. But the second someone who's higher up all of a sudden has this illness, it'll get figured out real quick.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm playing.
It's I mean, for people who have this, I mean, I can't imagine if that's what you love is meat, and all of a sudden now you can't.
That's crazy.
I mean, you have to become a vegan for all intents, or just
we got
eat
chicken.
fish,
Yeah.
eat fish, or but pork,
what's the point of living?
Pork and I'm sure the animals would appreciate it.
All right, well,
I'm sure they would appreciate it, but
I don't think they appreciate or don't appreciate anything.
Yeah,
their food.
I'm a big bird guy. I like turkey. I like chicken. I've had some other like pretty good. I think I've had pheasant one time that was pretty good. So for me, like, I'm not saying I heaven forbid, I don't want to get this either. But for me, if there was
you can make it work.
If there was some sort of tick that made me allergic to chicken, I think that would be the thing where I'm like, well, guys, I'm sorry, it's been a good run, but I don't know if I can make it anymore.
I eat a lot of chicken. I don't eat a lot of red meat. I really don't. But I do love a good steak.
Yeah, I agree.
Every now and then, I like a good burger.
Yes.
I generally get a burger every week.
Yeah.
Especially on Tuesdays with my running group. I do that after we run.
One thing Miranda and I are getting away from is the fast food stuff.
Oh, we don't.
We don't really do that unless we got to.
Right.
But we just.
I can't.
There's too many questions of what they're putting in it, what they're making with it. I think McDonald's did it for me when they stopped using beef tallow.
Oh yeah.
To fry their food.
Oh yeah.
Their French fries and stuff. And when you just look at it now, it's not appealing anymore.
Oh yeah.
I would rather go somewhere that makes a real burger.
Yep.
Real meat. And you're gonna pay a little bit more. But right now, do you really pay a little bit more?
Yeah.
When you go to McDonald's and you're gonna pay restaurant prices now.
Oh, so. I know. That's what I if we're talking like quote unquote fast food that's in that fresher category that I like, but is also expensive, is Five Guys for that same reason. No sponsor, but like that's one thing for me. Like, and if
unless they want to be,
unless you want to be, but for me that's one of those things where like you can, it's all pretty fresh and it's all made right there, and I see
real potatoes, real meat.
Yeah. It's not salted. It's just, anyways, like it's places like that where I can trace back some of it that I think I'm more okay with. But you're right, things I can't see what's going on with, or they keep things hidden. I'm like, nah, I think I'm all right. But
I can't tell you the last time I actually had fast food.
The funny thing is, if you ate it, now that you've cleaned your body out of all of it, you actually may be sicker if you ate some of it.
You may think you was bit by the tick.
I absolutely can't tell you that I had fast food. I used to eat it all the time growing up. I mean, it was McDonald's,
of course.
Wendy's.
Well, it was shocking to us
Taco
when
Bell.
you announced a couple weeks ago that you almost went to a fast food restaurant. We were like, wait, what?
I'm not saying it happened. Like, for example, if you're traveling,
of course, you
just
that's the hard part is that it's convenience. It was price and convenience, but now it's more so it's just convenience. But
that's exactly it. It's convenience.
But anyways.
Well,
what an interesting topic we had today.
Yeah, it's this is something to look into. There's a lot of good videos on what it does, how it affects you, but it's an allergy.
Not to spread fear, but
right, it's an allergy.
It's
an allergy, right? It's an allergy like any other allergy, And some people have a violent reaction to it. Some people have a somewhat moderate, or a little bit of a reaction. So. Everybody's different when it comes to this stuff, and I just hope that it's. I hope they find some way of trying to mitigate this the best they can. But if this is more as a result of government and manipulation, then it's sort of like you throw your hands up. It's like we just have a death wish. We really do. Yeah. I mean, I
don't think it's I think the government's part of it, but the government is just a tool for the ultra elite. That's just something in their tool bag to do this, and that's kind of the crazy part. These supposed educated, ultra elite people have been telling us to go vegan and all this for so long. They're basically just trying to take the choice away from us now. They don't want. This is not the land of the free. This is the land of you're going to do whatever the hell we tell you to do.
Interesting.
And they're trying to take that choice away from us and just it's magical. It was just a tick. Right. Oh no.
Well, I just think that I think probably there's something going on right now. I do. I think right now this war in Iran or whatever you want to call it, I think it's a front for something else. But
we talked about that last week. What's the right hand doing? Or distracting you that you don't see the left hand doing.
It's funny, like I mentioned about regarding all the UFO disclosures, and now these scientists are showing up dead, and it's attracting attention, and we got a war going on, and it's just like what's going on here? So, and then of course, what made the big news was the Trump picture of him looking like Jesus Christ, and I'm sitting there going, shaking my head. I'm going,
you can't, dude.
Whoever came up with that picture,
you can't,
and authorized that release, I'm going, what in the world is this?
I hope that there wasn't any authorization. I hope he just did that because
I think somebody got to him to pull it down, but he didn't apologize.
No,
for it. I think his excuse was it was supposed to be he was a doctor.
Yeah,
and it was Red Cross, and I'm going, well, if that was it, somebody don't know what the Red Cross looks like because that sure don't look like Red Cross to me. But whatever.
That was all cover up.
I said it in his first time as president. He just needed to stay off.
Yes.
Of what was it called back then? Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah. Now
he just needed to stay off of Twitter. He just needs to stay off his phone.
That is him, and it's just, look. I mean, it's. I don't think he's listening to the right people right now. I truly believe that. I think he's got some people in his administration that are not the people that I think represent the people that voted for him. I think he's got a bunch of neocons, and I think he's got a bunch of Christian Zionists.
Yep.
And at the urging of Israel is doing this, and it's not necessarily what the United States needs right now. And we got people came and pay their bills.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that's what you need to focus on.
Of course.
Literally 75% of what comes out of your mouth should be that. 25% should be the rest of the world. 75% should be what's going on here. But, you know, this is what happens.
You're right.
So we'll see.
Well,
we'll see.
With
how
all that being
plays out.
said, we're curious. Do you know anybody that has contracted alpha gal? Have you heard anybody, or do you know? Have you yourself been gotten? You may be entitled to a settlement. No, but we'd like to hear from you. We have comment sections on Spotify and YouTube where you can leave some responses. If you have a really long form response, we have an email address, getoffendedtogether@gmail.com, where you can send those responses as well. We appreciate you listening, and until next week, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
So what do we do with a story like alpha-gal syndrome? A tick bites you, and now a hamburger may send your body into open revolt. If that sounds insane, that's because it is insane. And yet here we are, living in an age where the sentence, "a bug made me allergic to brisket," is somehow not a punchline, but a diagnosis. And maybe that's the bigger lesson. The world is getting stranger by the day, but strange does not automatically mean false anymore. Sometimes the truth is just weird enough to sound like satire. Now, should that stop us from asking hard questions? Not a chance here at Retrospect. We should ask, who knew that? When they knew that? Why cases seem to be growing? Why public awareness always seems to show up a little bit late to the party. Because when something this bizarre starts hitting real people, skepticism is healthy. But skepticism cuts both ways. It does not mean blindly trusting the official version. It also means not marrying every internet theory just because it sounds wrapped up in suspicion with dramatic music. Alpha-gal is real. The suffering is real. The science is real. The fact that it sounds crazy does not make it fake. It just means reality once again outdone conspiracy radio. And honestly, at this point, maybe that's the most on-brand thing about modern life. You survived the economy, the food pyramid lied to you, the labels are a maze. Now apparently even the ticks are coming for your steak. Sleep tight, America. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Don't try to be my peace. Be at peace with yourself so you don't disturb mine.